Hi guys, welcome to part 3 of my Pendulum divination series. Today I'm going to go over and just show you how I use my pendulum. I'm going to give you a couple resources of charts that I use. I'm not going to go too far in depth about it because that could turn into a 2 to 3 hour class video anyway. But I will give you some resources. But this is just basically to show you where I get my information, where I was taught, things like that. So first thing comes first. Always remember this is a tool. A dowsing, a pendulum is always a tool, okay? Do not form an attachment to always using this to get an answer. This is just a guiding system, if you will. You really want to learn how to rely on your intuition. Okay, but this does help you with several different things. A lot of times I will change frequencies using it. I can change pH of water using it, things like that. So it is helpful besides just yes and no answers. But I will give you a website that goes all into the many uses of your pendulum as we go along. But for now, just remember, this is a tool, and as with any tool that you have, do not form an attachment to it. Okay, you have intuition. Allow this to bring forth your intuition. Okay. A second thing is that yes, since it is a tool and it has density, there are beings that can manipulate it. So you always want to shield yourself. You always want to pay attention. I hope that during that time between the videos that you got to know your pendulum. You know, I'm going to kind of move it intentionally just to show you guys. But you want to pay attention to the swing of your pendulum. If it feels heavy to you as you're swinging it, if it feels like it's heavy, there's a weight on it, chances are there's actually probably a little being on there trying to mess with you. So just pay attention. If your swing, all of a sudden it's getting heavy and it's getting smaller and smaller, chances are there's a stagnant energy that's floating around that's interfering with it. Just clear your pendulum. You can, if you're out somewheres and you don't have sage or Palo Santo or salt, whatever, just kind of put it in your hand, set the intention, put white light on it that you want to clear it. Also, always put yourself in your protection bubble. I go over all that in, I believe it's in video 2. So just, actually, I think it's in video 1, I'm sorry. But just always protect yourself. Always put protection. We should be doing that all the time anyway. And the last important thing with a pendulum is whenever you dowse for information, you always want to be in a neutral state. Okay, our brains are very powerful. If we want something, if we have an attachment to an answer, we will create that answer of how we want it. So you always want to be in a neutral state. And how I get into a neutral state is I'll state the intention. I'm in a neutral space. I have no attachment to the answer regarding this question. And then I take a deep breath in, and then I take a long exhale. And as I'm exhaling, I'm just visualizing all my attachments to the answer just kind of blowing away, and then repeating again that I'm in a neutral space. I also have my pendulum programmed where I'm just going to start it spinning a little bit. When I'm in a neutral space, I know it's ready for me to start dowsing when I goes into like a 2 o'clock. It'll start going kind of like in a 2 o'clock pattern, if you will. And that's when I know that I'm in a neutral state and I can go ahead and douse. So just always keep that in mind, okay, when you go to douse. Now, a couple things. We can move this real quick. Go into that in a little bit. So I use my pendulum on my day-to-day. A lot of times I will use it to determine vitamins. Okay, so here I've got a couple of bottles of vitamins that I robbed out of my vitamin drawer. I have about, I think I have like 20 different vitamins. But you don't need vitamins every single day. So how do you know when you need the right vitamin? So what I do is I get myself in a neutral state, again, taking a deep breath, and I'll line up all my vitamins. I'll have my vitamins all lined up in a row. And then I will put my hand over the first. You can even grab the bottle. I'll grab the bottle sometimes. And then I'll put my hand over the bottle. And then I look at the flow. So it's spinning it. I could use vitamin D, but see how little? It's not really spinning dramatically. So it's not going to harm me if I was to take it. But it's not something that I really need today. But I could take it if I wanted to. Okay, that's what that means to me. If it was spinning like this, you know, if it was spinning really far like this, that to me, that's my indicator that yes, I do need that vitamin for the day. Okay, but currently when I ask and I get myself, it's going very, very tiny. You can see how tiny this little circle is. So that tells me that yes, I could use it. It's okay. It's not gonna hurt me not to use it. Let's just see about the lysine. This one's a yes. And that's just from all my ligament damage from mountain biking. But yeah, so see the difference in the swing with the vitamin D versus this one. So yes, I would take this one for the day. Okay. B12. Let's see. Do I need my B12 today? Nope. See how it's just dead hanging? It's telling me no. So, okay, I don't need any B12 today. How about some dandelion root? Do I need some dandelion root today? See how it's dead hanging? That would be a no. So I don't need that today. Okay. Let's just check out my immune support using my beta quercetin. So again, see how I could take it. It's not going to hurt me. But I'm okay if I don't take it too. So it's by my choice. Okay? So you see the difference? This was a dead hang. And then the lysine. See how that's a, let me see if I can get it to, yeah, there it goes. That's a yes. That's a definite, go ahead, I'm trying to do the video for you guys to see it, but I can't. So it's kind of hard to see, but you get the idea, hopefully. So that's how I do my vitamins. I figure out what vitamins are good for me. You can also, which is super cool, if you're on Amazon and you're torn, you know, they'll have I take zeolite, and there's about 20 different brands of zeolite on Amazon. If you don't know whether that one's going to work for you, put your finger over the image and just set the intention, will this work for me? And then put your finger, your pendulum over it. And if the pendulum starts, whatever your yes is, then it's really cool. You could go through and just kind of go down you could even just do it now if you want the zeolite. Just Google Amazon zeolite. And then just lay your hand on the image and see which zeolite brand would work for you. It's a quick, easy way of determining brands. I do that with my teas. If you're at a grocery store, and unfortunately I only have one brand of tea here in the house. Usually I had another one too, but unfortunately that's got used up all the way. But again, say you had 2 types of teas and you didn't know which one was better for you, which one you should take. You could be at the grocery store. Just put your hand over it and just ask, clear yourself, get yourself in a neutral. And then, so this would be beneficial for me to take. And then let's try the ginger. The ginger, yeah, it's not going to harm me. I could take it. But for me, for today, it's going to be more beneficial for me to do the turmeric. See the difference in the spin? It's actually spinning. It's kind of hard for me to show you the spin. There it goes. Yeah, it's really spinning. So that's how I do my teas. I could be in the grocery store and I have, 2 jars of peanut butter. I have Skippy and Jif. Which one's better for me? What's going to be better for my digestion? You can ask that of your pendulum. Hold each jar and put your pendulum over the jar and just ask how how I do scales of 1 to 10. I don't do yes or no answers. And I'm going to give you a gentleman's name, Raymond Grace. He was one of my teachers using a pendulum. And he doesn't like yes or no answers. He likes to confuse the brain, if you will. I'm sorry, my dog is kind of whining here, so I'm going to shut this door. Okay. Sorry about that. But I use a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, and let me just move these and pull his chart up. So, I don't know if you guys can see. There we go. Okay, so in my mind, what I do is you'll see the yes is up here, and then his no is actually over here. What I do is in my mind, I visualize basically this quarter pie of the circle. Okay, this is what I visualize in my mind eye. Okay, and I do 1 as a no, and I do 10 as a yes. So if I'm taking a product like I'm taking peanut butter, Jiffy, I got Jif, and I've got I can't think of the other one. I have 2 different brands of peanut butter. Let's just say 2 different brands of peanut butter. I'll ask myself, I'll say, I'll visualize this chart 1 to 10, and I'll say which peanut butter, I'll hold the 1 jar, how beneficial would this be for me on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's say it's Jif peanut butter. So I can even just ask. So Jif peanut butter for me, 10 being a yes, 1 being a no, it's about a 3. So if I was to try Skippy, let me say I grabbed the jar of Skippy peanut butter, and I held the jar of Skippy peanut butter and said, how beneficial on the scale of 1 to 10 would this jar of Skippy peanut butter be for me? Let's see what I would get. How beneficial on a scale of 1 to 10 would Skippy? Well, Skippy's only about a 4. So there's really not too much beneficial benefits from either one of those, for me anyway. But I would do that again for my teas. Let's say ginger peach. Okay, so how beneficial on a scale of 1 to 10 would this ginger peach tea be for me? So it's moving, scale of 1 to 10. So it's about a 7. Okay, it's kind of hard to see, but that would be a 7 out of 10. And I would take this tea and I would say, how beneficial on a scale of 1 to 10 would this tea be for me? And it's going, and it's going all the way down to 10, which that's a definite, that's a yes. That would be more beneficial for me today to drink this tea than to do this tea. Okay, and we basically got that information also when we did just holding it, and we put the pendulum over our hand. Okay, sorry, right? So 2 different ways you can do things. Again, I don't like to use yes or no. That's not how I was taught. I do the 1 to 10 scale in my mind, and then just kind of visualize. I kind of have this imprinted on in my mind's eye, the scale here. So, and that's how I form my questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how beneficial would it be for me to blah, 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 if 10 is a yes and 1 is a no? And that kind of mixes your brain up. You kind of like draw, when you put something upside down, it confuses your brain. Basically, you're doing the same thing. You're just confusing the brain for a split second to get a better answer. Okay, Raymond Grace actually explains all of this in his classes. That's who I model my pendulum use from. So I will give you his information in a few minutes. So you can also do it for, food, vegetables. You can use it to see like how beneficial on a scale of 1 to 10 would this banana be for me to eat this banana today? It's going to a 10. So yeah. So it's saying, yeah, I could definitely eat the banana today. It's something that I could use. So that is how I use it for my food, for my different vitamins, things like that. Now, a class you can take you can use a pendulum for many other things besides yes or no questions. You can use it to neutralize water. You can use it to release headaches. You can use it to release pain, things like that. There's a gentleman that I took his class. His name is Raymond Grace. I'll put his website on my description. And he has an ebook that you can download. You can purchase and download. I purchased it and then printed it out and then put it in spiral bound, so I always have it. But he covers a lot of different things that you can do with a pendulum. So these are things that have worked for him, and it's quite interesting, a lot of the things that he does. And it really makes you start realizing that anything and everything is possible. You know, it's all about our intention. So you can see some of the things to how he uses a pendulum, okay? So you can use it for more than just for your fruits and vegetables, vitamins, all that stuff. There's many uses for the pendulum. But I highly recommend you check out Raymond Grace. It's Raymon, no D on the end, Grace, okay? And I don't know if he's still doing classes or not, but he might be. But definitely worth checking out, okay? And the book was pretty, I think it was like $15. I don't quite remember how much it was. This is going back like maybe 3 years or so. But another reference that you can use is going to be Letter to Robin. You may actually be able to download this for free. You might be able to find a link for that. By Walt Woods. And basically, again, this gives you guidance. Here's the neutral state, the being in a neutral state. He talks about the neutral state. He talks about programming your pendulum, all kinds of things. And I actually believe this is, Raymond Grace may have modeled some of his information, how he uses a pendulum off of this book by Walt Woods. But I believe you can download a free copy of this, and it's definitely worth checking out and reading, okay guys? So that would be a resource that would be really good to get for you. My chart is actually from Raymond Grace. Sorry for the salt on it. He has a dowsing chart that on his website that you can actually download. The chart that he has doesn't have the lines in here. I actually drew those lines myself just to make it easier for me. So feel free to alter your chart any way that you want to. And then I laminated it. I just got some laminated sheets and just laminated it because I find that I use this quite a bit, especially in my healing, checking people's frequencies, things like that. I'll use this chart. So his information is on the bottom here. I don't know if you can see it. His website's on there, www.raymondgrace.us. And then he also has an email if you have questions, again. And then he has a contact, his address, if you're interested. But yeah, I would highly recommend checking out his site. This is a very useful chart. He'll actually, he has a whole, goes into depth on how he uses the chart. You have your positive side, and then you have your negative side here. This is the negative, and then this is your positive side. And he goes all into that stuff, how he uses the chart. And you can, these are just tools for you to use your pendulum with. You can change it any way that you want to, guys, okay? Just remember that, all right? You can modify things. It's all about how it works for you. And if you've done divination in your past lifetimes, and you've had this experience before and you're able to pull it forward, you may work differently. Like my yeses and nos are not straight up and down, or the round or whatever. It doesn't work that way for me. So everybody's different, okay? Don't be afraid. Don't think that you're doing something wrong if it's not working the way your teacher's teaching you, okay? You're going to find your own way, okay? So there's two things, Letter to Robin by Walt Woods and Raymond Grace. I also recommend, if you're looking for charts, this is a great book. I think he has a second book too. This is the Pendulum Instruction Chart book. This is by Dale W. Olson. And he explains the charts in here, okay? Explains the ideas behind it, how you can find water, all kinds of things. But in the back of the book, he has all of these charts, okay? like your essential trace minerals, amino acids. You can find out what amino acids you need, enzymes for digestion. And he goes and explains to you how you can ask your question for your pendulum, okay? Always be mindful, always be in a neutral position. But there's some great charts in here. Herbals, essential oils that you may need. Your pH, I use this a lot. I drink alkaline water. I try to, there's a whole thing about alkaline water in a video called The Secret of Water, saying that you really want to put your body into an alkaline state because disease cannot live in alkalinity. So he has a pH chart here, all kinds of things. And then what's really cool is he even has, I think it's back here somewhere, there's a chart in here for automobile. You know, I've actually used this chart and it worked. I was like, whoa, that is so cool. I just was testing it out for my brakes and my oil, and it went to it. It was super cool. So yeah, there's some charts in here. There's pet charts in here, house inventory, you know, things to be mindful of, all kinds of charts. So it's really, really great. I have actually made copies of the charts, and I've made let me see if I can find it here. So I've actually created a binder where I put them all in protective sheets. So the ones that I use the most for my clients and things like that, I've actually just printed them out and put them in a binder so they're quick and easy for me to use. Yeah. So that is a great resource to use. I am going to give you a word of caution. He does have an ABC chart in the very back of this book. Okay. Let's see here. Where is it? Alphabet. Yeah. So just be mindful when you go into, if you were to use an alphabet chart, be very mindful of the information that you're receiving. Have a lot of discernment. Don't just go by the information that you're receiving. See how it feels. Is there feeling behind what you're receiving? Does it make sense? Okay. Just based on my experience, once you kind of go into the alphabet, using alphabet charts, things like that, you kind of open a doorway for other beings. And you don't want to go into a state of fear, because fear attracts exactly that, what you're fearful of. So just be mindful, go into a neutral state. Always have your protection up around you when you go in. Don't ask a question in fear, or don't go into it with the intention that, oh, I'm going to get contact with a bad spirit, because then you will. You know, that's what you're putting out there. You always remember, what you put out is what you receive. So just be mindful of that. Just, always be in a neutral state, not ask these questions, not in a fearful state of mind. So just be very wary of when you use an alphabet chart. A lot of discernment is needed. So if you haven't had a lot of lessons with discernment, I probably would not really mess with this yet. Get to know your pendulum. You're really going to want to know the feel of your pendulum, the pull, things like that. I can usually tell when a being is trying to come through that's not of the higher light. They're usually darker. So I can usually tell that when I use this chart right away based on all my many, many lessons of discernment. So yeah. Just a word of caution, but don't enter into a fear, okay? Your guides are going to protect you. But anyway, so that is a great resource. If you can actually make your charts. When I do my Akashic record readings, I actually wanted to create a couple different charts. And you can actually go to this website. Here it is, subtil.net. I don't know if you can see that, subtil.net. And you can actually create your own charts. You can create a whole bunch of different charts on yourself. So I have a couple different ones that I use all the time that I've created. So yeah, just Very cool website. So you can do a little donation if you want for using their services. But that is a great resource too for using, for creating your own charts. Trying to think if there's anything else. Again, definitely if you have the opportunity, take Raymond Grace's course or ebook. I think he has a couple different electronic classes that you can do. It's a great website, great information on there. Again, you can use your pendulum for things that you would never even imagine. I actually use this to start releasing a migraine that my sister had. By going counterclockwise. Raymond Grace talks about this, how you can do that. And my sister started feeling the headache releasing and got freaked out and was like, stop. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so you can do a lot with this pendulum. It's amazing. It's a great useful tool. Definitely worth putting in your toolbox. Something that you should, yeah, you can use it for so many things, but always remember, be in a neutral state when you use it, okay? Be in a neutral state, have no attachment to your outcome of the answers, okay? And yeah, pay attention to the swing of it. Again, you know, and beings, you know, they like to play, the little tricksters, you know, if they have the opportunity, they're gonna play with you. So have lots of discernment with it when you use it. And yeah, and always protect yourself. If you have any questions, email me down below. I will try and put like I said, the websites on the description below. And if they found this video helpful, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends or anyone else. And yeah, so I think that's it. If you like Akashic record reading, if you have questions, just in general, you just stuck and you don't really know what to do or something's happening, feel free to email me. I can see if I can get anything for you intuitively. If not, I can maybe be able to direct you where you might be able to find some answers. So, all right. So there's my part 3. Have an awesome day, guys. Great day. And yeah, till the next video. Bye.